Jurassic World Dominion. This is the third and supposedly final installment in this Jurassic World / Jurassic Park storyline, I guess. You never know, they may come back one day with another trilogy, but it features casts from Jurassic World and also those 3 original OG members from Jurassic Park. Jurassic World, the first one, was enjoyable, I thought. I thought the second one was a bit messy, and I kind of felt like this one was somewhere in the middle. I mean, I wasn't exactly expecting much apart from a popcorn movie, and that's pretty much what you get for the most part. I mean, let's talk about what's good. The action sequences involving anything where a dinosaur is trying to hunt a human is pretty damn entertaining. And luckily there's quite a few scenes revolving around stuff like this, and every scene like that, I just found it fun. There's some stuff like a car chase or a motorbike chase through like a tight city streets, or you know, someone's jumping from rooftop to rooftop trying to escape. I found that stuff entertaining, and like I said, I just like how they're sort of laid out and orchestrated. They were quite clever the way they were, you know, set up to actually be an interesting and fun chase scene. But for the most part, those scenes revolve around Chris Pratt's character and Bryce Dallas Howard's characters. So anytime you're not with them and you're with the other characters, you're just not getting that much excitement. And unfortunately, Chris Pratt's character and Bryce Dallas Howard's character, I'm saying that because I can't remember what their names are in the movie, but unfortunately their 2 characters, they didn't really get enough screen time. And that's because there's a lot of characters that we're bouncing around, and there's also numerous plot lines. Now the problem with these numerous plot lines is the fact that none of them feel like a main plot line. They all just kind of feel like subplots. Like, no particular plot line feels like anything major is at stake. They all just feel like little dramas, little things that, you know, need to be resolved, you know, so that some person's problem is fixed, but none of it really felt like too massive. And I was expecting a bit better because, or at least something a bit more dramatic, especially because the end of the second film, which is what I did remember, it's been a while since I've seen that, I remembered that it ended with sort of the dinosaurs have roamed out into the world, they're no longer locked in enclosures. And, you know, I was expecting something a little bit crazy here, like what if they were breeding so much that they were actually trying to take over the world and become like the apex predator, you know, the king of the animal kingdom, knocking the humans off the perch. I think that would have been cool. But that's not really what you get here. It's kind of a low-key, scaled-down drama within these different subplots. I get why the studio wanted to bring back the classic actors for this, but again, the movie was jumping across so many characters, it's hard to really root for anyone, apart from Chris and Bryce, because they've been in the previous 2 installments in this series, and obviously, you know, Jurassic Park was a long time ago. Now we're on Jurassic World. I kind of only really cared about Chris and Bryce in this movie, if I'm being honest. Although I do always care about Jeff Goldblum, because Jeff Goldblum's just awesome. Now, of course, you might say, if the movie is long enough, it's okay to have multiple plot lines and multiple characters. And you're correct, the movie is long enough. It's about 2.5 hours, just under. But unfortunately, the movie dragged. I felt like it didn't balance things that well. I don't think it dedicated the time to the right people, especially Chris and Bryce. They should have got more screen time than they did. And, you know, there's lots of other, you know, just outside of them and outside like the OG 3 actors that they put in here, there's a lot of time spent with other characters, and it kind of just felt like a waste. Like, why not spend time with these 5, you know, main characters? And apart from the fun action sequences, which didn't drag, they were actually exciting, you know, and I wanted them to go on for longer when they were happening. I was kind of disappointed when they finished because I knew we were kind of going to get something that just wasn't as fun as what we just got. I know we can't expect too much from this film. I'm not sure anyone really thought any sequel would capture, you know, anything like the original Jurassic Park film did. Or even like the Jurassic World reboot. Whilst it wasn't perfect, it was a pretty well-rounded movie. And, you know, I think people found it, you know, quite refreshing. I think they thought it was good. This, though, just didn't really add much, and it didn't hit those heights again. And another thing that let the film down was the dialogue in this movie. It felt off. It felt awkward. It felt like these characters, or at least the actors playing these characters, weren't entirely convinced by what they were saying, and therefore it seemed like it affected the delivery of lines at times. It just felt like they weren't convinced by it. It just felt a little like it was forced. It's like if someone who wasn't an actor was trying to do a scene. That's kind of how it felt, how it came across at times, like they weren't professionals. And that's not the case, of course, because these are professional actors, but there was just something about the way it came across that it just didn't feel quite right. It didn't feel like they were convinced. And therefore, you know, I think that can sometimes rub off on the audience where we're not convinced about what they're saying. It's a weird one, but honestly, this film was fine. I was definitely entertained at times. I enjoyed the dinosaur drama and I enjoyed certain characters. But overall, this was a movie that was juggling so much. I think one less plotline, a few less characters, and 20 minutes cut off the runtime would have massively helped this movie just to turn it into a more balanced, well-rounded experience. You know, if they just focused on one thing, one plotline to go for, and gone with that, because I don't think the plotlines they went for were the most interesting here. Maybe it works better if you've watched all three back to back. Maybe there's a nice overarching thing, but it almost doesn't feel like they had a plan for this trilogy. It almost just feels like they're kind of going from one film to the next, like say the sequel trilogy for Star Wars. Of course, that didn't work. I think it's better, you know, to really have an overarching plan for 3 movies, but it didn't quite feel that way here. I would give Jurassic World Dominion a 6 out of 10. It's a fine watch. It's, you know, I'd say it's worth watching, I guess, if it's the sort of thing you're into, if you like a good dinosaur action movie. It's certainly one of those. You know, it's a good sort of popcorn movie, but in terms of rewatchability, I'd say it's one of those you would probably stick on if it came on late night TV and there was nothing else to watch. But apart from that, I don't think it has the most rewatch value, especially compared to, say, the first Jurassic Park and possibly the first Jurassic World. Anyway, that's my opinion for this movie. I know my opinion on the last movie I reviewed, Everything Everywhere All at Once, didn't go down too well, which I somewhat understand. You know, the people mad that I walked out on that movie, which, yeah, why make a review of something? But yeah, regardless, these are my thoughts on Jurassic World Dominion. If you've seen it, let me know what you think about it. Did you like it? Did you think it was kind of trash? I'm curious. I didn't think it was trash. I thought it was fine. You know, I think it's entertaining enough. But yeah, let me know what you think, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.